Another full turn. Roughest side up. We want to leave it as thick as we can, but get it smooth. Looks like one more pass. All right, turn that one off. That's a noisy one. That's the planer. After we plane it, we surface sand it. I bring it over here. If you remember, I've got to be at these two machines checking our thickness. So we've got about 875. And that's what I've got it set up to right here. Let's see here. Let's double check that. Yeah, 875. So this is way too big, isn't it? I've almost got 2 inches there. Taking it down to 875. About right there. Let's see how we do. Last step in our panel creation. Yep, keeping it under 50 amps. And on this machine as well, roughest side up. We'll take another half turn. Yep, keeping it under 50. And we do that until it's nice and smooth. All right. So that was the process of making a panel. We started over here with our long boards, and we had to rip them into 4 inches or less. Then we I/O jointed them. We glued them up, let them dry, plane them, surface sand them. We got our panel. Well, here are 2 panels. I told you earlier, the main thing we're learning today, that was all review, is how to square this to size, all right? 4-step process. I'm gonna show that to you right now. It's gotta be in order, okay? Step 1 is to square to join an edge. We want to joint the straightest edge, and also think about defects. I want to joint this one so I can rip this part off. I only need 13 inches, so I'm hoping I can get rid of that. So I'm going to join it over here. I don't need push sticks because it's taller than the fence. Here we go. That's step 1, join a straight edge. That edge is important for all the other steps, so I'm going to mark it. That's the one I jointed. Now, step 2, take it over to the table saw. We've got to cut it to finish width, which is 13, right? So I'm looking on my scale here, there's 13. I'm gonna double check it. I'm gonna measure from the fence to my tooth. Perfect, 13. Okay, don't need push sticks because the groove is showing. Here we go. Step number 2 for squaring a panel. Keeping the jointed edge against the fence. Beautiful. And we got rid of our defect, didn't we? That's what we were hoping. So step 1 was join an edge. Step 2 was to rip it. Now they should be parallel edges. Step 3 and 4 are on the radial arm saw. Jointed edge against the fence. Okay, if we don't have the jointed edge against the fence, it may not come out square. So that jointed edge, step 1, affects step 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to take off just enough to square an end. I need to move my clamp, didn't come out far enough. Let's try that again. That worked. Nice and slow. Now, we flip it, jointed edge still against the fence, and we measure our 20 inches. Should have a pencil with me, but I don't, so I'm going to use chalk. Yeah, right there between those two marks is 20 inches. Okay, if we had a whole bunch of them to do, we could put a clamp up and cut them all day long at that same length. Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm not going too short here, lining it up. There we are. Step number 4, square the other end to length. Let's see how I did. I'm about a 1/16 long. That's why I want a pencil mark rather than a chalk. All right, I'll get a pencil. But hey, that's the steps to squaring a panel. Okay, here's another one. When I have a panel that's been planed and sanded, and it's ready to be cut to size, step number 1 was what? Join an edge, straightest edge, and then also evaluating for defects. Do the opposite edge, right? Then that edge we mark. Then we bring it over, straight edge against the fence. We rip it to width is step number 2. Then step 3 and 4 are on the radial arm saw. Jointed edge against the fence. Cut it to square and end, step number 3. Flip it over, jointed edge against the fence. Cut it to length, step number 4. 4-step process in squaring a panel. People, from there, we're ready to router the edge like our project, right? Top and bottom are routered. Then we're ready for graphics. We'll do that tomorrow. All right, we'll see you then.